What's up, world? Tommy Sotomayor. This fucking clown. Uh, for those who don't know, uh, well, before I get into that, let me just say that I learned of Tommy Sotomayor back in 2018. I saw a few of his videos. He said some things that I liked, and he said some things that I didn't like regarding the black community, primarily speaking about the black woman. But of course, the more videos that you watch of him, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that he has a very deep disdain, hatred towards black women. It's one thing to, when you're talking about black women, to talk about, what's wrong, what's primarily wrong with them as far as uh, what they're doing wrong is not what you, of course, is not benefiting them and their duration of their lives. The countless of bad decision making, the countless of bad decisions that they do and make in regards to relationships, which has a primary effect on the immense children that they have. However, like I said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that this guy really doesn't really like black women at all. We don't know why. Pretty much I don't care why, but it's a difference when you continue to bash women and call them all types of obscene names and derogatory statements in regards towards them. Lots of other people in the black community, as far as this red pill manosphere sector, the majority, you can tell who hates black women, who doesn't. When the majority of black men in the community is speaking about black women, we back it up with statistics and facts that anyone can Google and research to see what we're stating. As far as just a primary example, the epidemic of single mothers growing in the black community, the epidemic of single mothers having numbers of multiple baby fathers in the black community versus black men. When we speak, the majority of time when people in the manosphere, when we're speaking of black women, we bring up statistics a lot to back what we're stating. So of course it doesn't look like that we're just hating. We're just specifically shining a light on those topics, because now we have the manosphere. We never had platforms on mainstream media to get our message across, because they don't want those type of messages getting across. So there's a difference in how some people do it versus how he does it. For those who don't know, Tommy Sotomayor was on Fresh and Fit last week, and he got into it with a certain black lady that he was sitting directly right next to. Words were exchanged. She was asking. She told him that she unfollowed him on IG because he kept downing black women. She stated that the reason why she did so is because he kept doing it, and it seems like he was only doing it towards black women. Her claim was that he never was downing or shining a bad light on any other ethnic race of women. It was just primarily black women. So they, she was asking him all questions. Told him she unfollowed him on IG. And later on during that podcast, they got into it. He ended up losing his cool, called her a black bee, and she wasn't having it. She stood up. They both stood up. She smacked the shit out of his ass, and they was pretty much getting a little scuffle. Everybody in the background, everybody was there, was trying to pretty much break him up, keep him held, so he doesn't attack her and everything like that. But what we saw is that the black woman did smack him, and we never seen him. He may have tried to unleash back, hit her back or whatever, but we never saw him do it. He never did it. Fast forward to within the last 24 hours, the black woman who hit Tommy Sotomayor has pressed charges against the black woman who hit him. Now, let me say this. I have my own qualms, my own, problems certain problems with black women, and it's nothing deep hatred or anything like that. It's just same thing as most of the men in the manosphere are doing. We just want black women to take accountability for their actions, because let's just be quite honest, they just don't. Especially when it comes to the single mother epidemic. Them, 80%, more than 80% of black women filing for divorce, in these marriages and having babies and kids, by many, different dudes versus, and when you compare that to black men, we're not even doing that. 52% of us don't even have kids. You know what I'm saying? Versus them, over 80% got kids, and of that 80%, over 60% got kids by multiple fathers. But that's another story. That's another topic. I'm not going to get into that. I'll get into that a lot more on different videos on this channel, because I'm going to start to grow this channel a lot. I know I said that before. I just been busy as hell, but now I'm getting to a point in my life where I'm starting to have free time on my hands. Nevertheless, Tommy Sotomayor has pressed charges against this female. Now, I'm going to say this. Even though I don't like Tommy Sotomayor, and even though I disagree with a lot what he says, I do agree with some of what he says. But in regards to him pressing charges against this black woman, I'm not going to lie, y'all. I like it. And the reason why I like it is because the double standards of the nature. The double standards between black men and black women. Shit, men versus women as a whole is just heavily skewed. You know what I'm saying? Like, black women never take accountability for their actions. They always want to blame everything on black men, yada, yada, yada. This move that Tommy Sotomayor did in pressing charges, this is a chess move. And actually, I'm going to have to give him props for doing this. It's kudos to Tommy Sotomayor for doing this, because he should. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should be putting their hands on one another, regardless if he was calling you black bitch, using profanity, all types of obscenities and everything like that. He should be pressing charges against her. You should never put your hands on him. Like, because let's just look at if the roles were reversed. If she was calling him, you black crunchy bitch, and all this, and selling him out and everything like that, and he got fed up, lost his school, and hit her, we all know that a lawsuit would have been coming, simply because he's Tommy Sotomayor, and he may appear to have, a little bit of bag here and there. I mean, of course, we don't know how much money that he gets, but we're going to assume that he gets enough, being that, the number of subscribers he has, the duration of videos of being watched of his and everything like that, and so forth. So I do think this is a beautiful chess move by Tommy Sotomayor. And it may also set a tiny, well, I'm not going to say set a tiny precedent, because, we know, you can sue anybody for anything, but it just goes to show that black men are not taking that shit, man. We tired of, and that's another statistic. Domestic violence and or assault and battery and stuff like that. Those are conducted primarily more by women than men, and I believe that statistic rose tremendously beginning in the late 90s, moving into the new millennium. Before, it was probably, mostly, well, we probably don't even know that. It probably was black men doing it. But we know, of course, these days it's black women who are committing these committing and, provoking, starting these assaults, domestic violent issues and everything like that. We as men are just getting tired, man. Black women are always, women in general, but especially black women, we're getting tired because there's this unspoken word or unspoken code within the black community, as far as the women, that they can just put their hands on men at any given time, any given moment, and there's no repercussions that's gonna come their way or anything like that, just simply because they're a woman and we're men. We're just supposed to take it, and we can't. If it's like a unspoken rule, and in the black community, that if you can't take a hit from your woman or a woman, then you're not a real man. Like you supposed, like real man, like we just supposed to just sit up there and just take and hit. No, man, nobody wants to be hit. And honestly, if he would have hit her back after she slapped him, I would have probably clapped and applauded that too. A woman should be putting her hands on a man unless you willing to take what's going to happen after that. If you can't stand to take what's going to happen after that, then you definitely shouldn't be putting your hands on a man. I don't understand. And the primary reason why they're putting their hands more on men and hitting men, this and that, like that, because you can go on YouTube and look at videos all day of women hitting men with nothing happening, simply because they know the police are going to back them up. You know what I'm saying? They have the protection of the police if all else fails. And we're just getting tired of that. We're getting tired of that visual. Optics is everything, and it needs to spread to all four corners of the earth that men in general, we're just not having that shit anymore. Keep your hands to yourself. Stop hitting us, because we don't hit you first and last. I mean, yeah, it does happen, but majority of the time we're not hitting you, because we know there are going to be consequences that are going to come with that after the fact. And that's it, man. If you're a woman, if you're putting your hands on a man, then be prepared to take on whatever going to come after that. You shouldn't be putting your hands on a man just because you know the police will more than likely be in your corner. She was dumb as hell. She was dumb to do that because you're on a podcast knowing it's being filmed and taped. I guess she didn't think, well, shit, I'm going to hit him and he's not going to do anything to me. He may hit me back, but I'll go ahead and eat that. But I bet you she didn't know a lawsuit was coming. I bet you didn't know or not even a lawsuit, because she probably broke. But she damn sure didn't think he was going to press charges just because he's just a man, and the optics of what that would look like. But you got to remember, Tommy Sotomayor is a bitch, so he's going to act like a bitch. He's going to do bitch moves because that's just his whole moves is bitch. Like even though he didn't hit her back in the video, he was attempting to. He kept saying, "You got the right one. You got the right one. You black bitch. I'm not the one. I'll hit you, whatever." So he was making moves and to like getting ready to appear like he was about to hit her, but it never occurred. It never happened. So he did the chess move of pressing charges on her, and he should press charges, and she should be arrested. You know what I'm saying? Spend the night in jail, spend in jail until somebody bail her out, whatever. Because this shit needs to stop, man. Women need to stop. This needs to spread around to let her know, yo, if you hit us, we're gonna start pressing charges just like y'all do us all the time. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and the reason why I call Tommy Sotomayor a bitch is because, the proof is in the pudding, man. There's all types of videos of this dude getting punked by dudes online, but he quick to step to a woman. You know what I'm saying? He quick to try to fight a woman and this and that and everything like that. But when Tariq Nasheed pulled up on that fool on doing one of Vlad's interviews, Tommy Sotomayor, he didn't have nothing to say. He had no energy for Tariq. He didn't want that smoke. He didn't want that heat. He stayed sat in his chair like a little hoe that he was, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? He had this little funky ass smile on his face, like, smiling and looking at Tariq like, yeah, you got me. You pulled up. You caught me by surprise and everything like that. It was a look of, I'm surprised and I'm a bit scared at the same time, because it could jump off at any moment, because Tariq ain't no punk. Tariq could pull up on that nigga quick. And Tommy Sotomayor, damn, he knew he ain't want that smoke, but he been doing all this talking online. So I don't like Tommy Sotomayor. I don't like how he degrades black women. It's a way to do it, but he hardly ever uses, well, I'm not gonna say he hardly ever uses statistics. He uses statistics in some of his videos when he is, trying to back up some of his claims, but we all know that he just goes in on black women, just, calling them bitches, hoes, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's always directed towards them. It's a way to do things, and he just does it all wrong. But yeah, that's it. I'm definitely gonna start trying to make a video almost, a few times a week in regards to talking about, the black community, the problems that we have. Because one thing that really bothers me is this epidemic of single mothers and the multiple baby fathers that they have. This shit is outrageous. It's despicable. It's tearing up the black community. And the percentage shows that of the 85% of the single mothers that we have in this world, in the United States, age 18 and over 60% of them have kids by multiple dudes. Meanwhile, 52% of black men don't even have kids. And that says a lot. I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm just going to cut the video off here because I'm going to say that for another video. But that's that and a lot of things, man. We're about to get real active on this channel. Also, I know I don't have that many followers or anything like that yet, but I'm still trying. I'm trying to. I want to get black men's perspective. If you were once married, now divorced, I want to hear your story on what happened within that divorce. What led y'all to get divorced? Who filed? What the reasonings behind that? Even if you're in a relationship and the relationship went bad, y'all broke up, whatever. I want to hear what happened in that relationship. Simply because we always hear the woman's side, we don't ever hear the men's side. And of course, we all know that if you let the woman tell it, she's gonna blame everything on that man. Like they don't do any wrong, they never take accountability for anything. You let a woman tell it, every time a relationship or a marriage goes wrong, goes south, it's always the man's fault. You don't ever hear a woman say, it was my fault, I fucked up as to why the relationship don't work. It's my fault as to why the marriage ended. You just never hear those things. I wanna hear those stories from gentlemen out there who've been in situations so we can get these stories out there, man. We just don't hear them enough at all, but we hear these stories all the time from black women. We need to start getting the other side of this perspective because we just need to. We need to get it out there to let the world know that it's not our fault primarily as to why these relationships are failing, because proof is right there in the divorce rate who files for the divorce. So yeah, that's all I got to say for right now. This is Blacks Are Superior. I'm out.